Moving on to the physical properties of enamel. Regarding its hardness, it is the hardest tissue in the body, and it is highly mineralized. It is harder than dentine and bone, and it is highly resistant to abrasion. Alright, so always remember that it is harder than dentine and bone. This is a very common question in exams. Now, why does it have to be this hard? Remember that the tooth is used to chew on hard foods, such as, for example, carrots. We've also mentioned previously that it cannot be naturally repaired by the body, so this is an extra reason for it to be extra strong. Now, regarding the porosity of enamel, the porosity of enamel relates to the water, meaning that there is water between the crystals and there is water trapped within the crystals. So water is a very important element in enamel. Enamel is also semi-permeable, meaning that it allows water and some small molecules and ions to cross. Alright, so remember that enamel is semi-permeable and there is constant exchange of some things between the enamel and the external environment. Hardness and porosity vary from one area of enamel to another. Enamel is harder and less porous at the external surface, and the cuspal enamel is harder and more dense than cervical enamel. Now, there is a logical way to remember this. Remember that the external surface of the enamel is the one that is exposed to the harsh things, like chewing carrots, as we said, and other things. So it needs to be harder and less porous. The same thing applies when we talk about the cuspal enamel. The cuspal enamel, of course, has to be harder and it has to be more dense than the cervical enamel. Again, which part of the tooth has to chew and has to be strong for that? Of course, it is the cuspal enamel. While the cervical enamel right here is kind of safe, right? It's right there hiding and not being exposed to the harsh chewing forces and all these things. So of course it has the luxury of not having to be dense and strong, so it is less dense and less hard than the cuspal enamel.